Welcome to the Elements of Spirit readings for the week of July 31st, 2017. These are free weekly readings through the elements of earth, air, water, fire, and ether from ediblespirit.com and from me, your host, Michael Domitrovich. Bringing you these readings as a means of working with your primary element throughout the week. The way it works is you listen to the ether reading, which is this reading first. Then that sort of applies to everyone. It's a general message for the crew, for the crowd, for all of us. Then you listen to the reading that is associated with your primary element of earth, air, water, or fire. If you are curious as to which element you are, just find your sun sign that's associated with your birth date in the comment section below this reading, and that will give you your primary element. Then you listen to the ether, listen to the primary element, put the two together, bing, bang, boom, there's your elements of spirit. Okay. It's a sweet and simple message today. Take heart. Sort of a nice follow-up to all of the Leo mojo of last week. Take heart. Wherever you are in your spiral journey, the center is always visible. I feel like this is an echo, but I feel like this is an echo, like we had a similar reading to this a few months ago. But it's a totally different message. It's cool. It's like, oh, P.S., spiral. Okay. And the implication is no matter where you're at on your spiral path, the center is always visible. And there's this sense that no matter how far you travel, you never really escape your shit. And the way I put it sometimes is that, like, whatever your shit is has a particular flavor during this incarnation. Sorry, I'll try to keep it away from those references for the rest of the reading, but maybe I won't. Maybe I won't try. But for now, you never really escape your shit. You're traveling around in this spiral. And the idea, it's a very tactile, I'm in a very sensate, very textural, clairsentient feeling mood today. Like, not a lot of mental action. What is it? It's very, it's good mud. It's like earthy water, clay, maybe, right? That cool, still, sensual, tactile quality. That's where I'm at. So the messages are coming in a very tactile way today, meaning my sense is that beneath this central point is this gravitational center, which is interesting, which if we were to just walk away from our center, it would look more like a line, right? Like a trajectory, like get the heck out of here. But because of this pull from our gravitational material, because of this pull from the center, as we walk away, that pull keeps pulling us back. So we're still trying to walk away, but the pull is pulling us back to the center. So part of this is just to remind you that if you feel like you can't escape, there's a reason for that. That gravitational center is always pulling you back to your central core. You're supposed to be dealing with the same flavor of shit over and over and over and over and over again. Because all the while, you're decreasing the power. It's very black hole imagery too, right? You're decreasing the pull of the event horizon the further you get away, and therefore the spiral will keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger because you're moving away from the central pull of this. It's not going to pull you back in. It's not going to swallow you up. But the presence of that inertia, the presence of that center, the presence of your past, the presence of your karma, the presence of your moon, the presence of your addictions, compulsions, emotional patterns, toxicity, psychological, anything repetitious, right? The idea is that your will may be trying to lead you away from it, but the material, the gravitational pull of that material is always pulling you back. And that's not a bad thing. I'm saying take heart, because that gravitational center, when we start talking about Leo, is your heart. It's the center, the 3 chakras below, the 3 chakras above, center of the heart. Ooh, yes, center of the yin yang. Gravitational pull, calling you back to the center. Is reminding you the center is always visible, but the center is always visible from a different perspective, right? A perspective that's farther away, not as influenced by the center, but ultimately referring back to the center, will show you where you came from. And even if it seems like a circuitous route, because you're engaged with that same central core, because your will is still expressing your desire to grow, I don't want to say grow away from, but grow relative to this center. But yeah, sure, fine, grow away from, because that's what they say in the beginning. Take heart wherever you are in your spiral journey, aka even if you feel like you're in a rut or trudging or going around the same material, if you feel like you can't shake off the material of your past or the patterns and emotions and behaviors and people, places, and things that defined you, the reason is because you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to get away from it. There's also something in here which says, have compassion for your growth. It's not cut yourself some slack, but know where you're at. Be compassionate about where you are if where you're not is getting to you. Be compassionate about where you are if you think you're supposed to be further along or further away from this central gravitational pull which could swallow you up from your past, childhood, relationships, limiting beliefs and ideas. The idea is that it doesn't change, or no, it's not that it doesn't change, but that you have that stank on you throughout this lifetime. Some teachers will talk about this as like a soul color, or like a vibrational inflection, or like some will talk about it as like a primary ray of the personality. We talk about it in this as a primary element, right? But kind of. So the idea is all of those things are organizers of experience, can talk to you. I don't really like the idea that we all have one soul color. Someone told me my soul color is orange. Someone else told me my soul color is pink and gold. Someone else told me that my soul color is blue, right? To me, I don't think it's a hard, fast thing. I do feel like we come into this life, like I said, working on a particular stank of self, right? Like I feel like I'm here to work this life on sensuality, being embodied, feeling excluded, feeling included, creating ways to include everyone at the table, everyone that feels excluded, to welcome them in, to invite them. Restaurant family, so everyone's welcome to the table, but also that's how I feel about spirituality. I feel like people get pushed out of this material because of various different reasons, and my feeling is like, we're all psychic, we're all intuitive, we're all spiritual, we all are made of the same stardust, so, but I spent so much of my early life feeling excluded. So my mission in life has become to include, right, and to welcome and to serve and to... So if you think about it, if you reflect about your life and the kind of general lessons that you find yourself having to learn, are they about work and yourself in the world? Are they about love and relationships? Are they about you and your art? Are they about you and your family? Are they about communication, spiritual understanding, changing the world, service? Like, what is your particular stank, right? Okay. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Because if you've been tuning in, you know that sometimes the best readings are the ones that I'm like, what does that have? What does that mean? Where did that come from? Like, I like that. Here's your affirmation. Wherever I am on my path, I pause to observe where I came from. I appreciate my journey. I appreciate where I am. So the idea here is this is a little like it I pause to observe where I came from. Means whatever it means to you. Say this to yourself. Wherever I am on my path, I pause to observe where I came from. What does that mean to you? Is that your past? Is that your family? Is that say you got a new job, do you remember when you got the first job in this field that led you up to this point, right? Whatever this sort of, and last week was all about origin stories too. So hopefully you've shared some origin stories with your tribe and you have a little bit better of a sense of the stories that mean something to you and the values that you share with your tribe. That was the message from last week. I loved that reading. I talked to everyone. It gave me an excuse to tell everyone my origin stories. It felt great. But in this case, wherever I am on my path, I pause to observe where I came from, whatever that means to you. My urging is to remind you, the initial message here, wherever you are on your spiral journey, the center is always visible from a different perspective, right? So wherever you came from, even if you think it's a path, a line long ago, 25 years ago, 50 years ago, 5 days ago, the idea is that you still come from yourself. The origin is still, that storyline is emerging from with you. It wasn't external. You were existing, you were in that place, and now you're in this place, and you've traveled this journey, and no matter how long you think the line is in terms of time, when you look at the gravitational center of your life and your existence and the material, the lessons, the stank of your soul that you're working on in this life, that timeline becomes very wrapped around. And it's different, and maybe now, you can cut yourself some slack when it feels like, I've only traveled this far, even though I've been walking 1,000 miles to get this far. I'm still only this far away from the center, but that's okay, because this is my center of gravity. There's a great understanding in some schools of astrology, right? There's this idea that the soul, that the moon, your moon sign, is the prison of the soul. It's this prison which traps you. It's the idea that center, that gravitational pull that traps you, is also the karma that you come into this life with. You come into this life with these lessons in order. The other way I say it is the shitstorms that rain on you, or the way that your parents fucked you up, is perfectly calibrated to give you exactly what you need, right? So the idea that your karma, the pain, the prison of your soul, is actually a blessing. It's good material. It's a gravitational center. That means no matter how far you stray or how far you travel, you always know where home is. Even if your home is a prison of your soul, it's still the karma, the material that you're here to work with. I get so sick of having to work with feeling excluded and included and excluded and included. But every time I get to work with someone who felt excluded that now feels included because they've had a healing experience for themselves, or because we've worked together, or because we've done something in a group or an event or something really cool like that, it makes me feel great because I recognize, they don't feel the way you used to feel anymore. And I'm not saying it's why I do this work, but it's definitely a bonus personally for me, is that when I do this work, I know that my particular stank, even though maybe I felt excluded from like existence yesterday, when I give of myself and make others feel included, then I feel like I'm also at the table. And so even if I have to learn that lesson 5 million times, it's fine. It's cool. Even if it's the prison of my soul, it's fine. It's cool, because wherever I am on my path, I pause to observe where I came from. I appreciate my journey, and I appreciate where I am here now today. That's your affirmation for the week. That's the ether reading for the week. Please, please, please enjoy. Subscribe to this. Follow on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. And I love you. I'll see you next week. And check out the other readings, Earth, Air, Water, Fire, based on your sun sign, down below. Bye.